Welcome back to Movies TV Mad. You can follow me on X at Movies TV Mad and on Instagram and on Threads at Movies TV Mad X. A very warm welcome to Saturday's edition of the DC Universe Daily. Look at that motherfucker behind me. Doesn't it look gorgeous? Doesn't it look stunning? And the snow sprinkled around it is a great touch. We all know that James Gunn has started principal photography on Superman Legacy. I know about the Legacy thing. Give me a bloody chance. I mean, he really did drop a lot of stuff, really, for us to get our teeth into. Anyway, they're shooting, they've started principal photography. James Gunn officially announced that principal photography started on Superman's birthday, February the 29th, and it's clear they're in Norway in Arctic conditions and they're doing some Fortress of Solitude stuff, which is very exciting to actually have a proper Fortress of Solitude in a Superman movie. Anyway, let's read what James had to say. Overjoyed to be announcing the start of principal photography on Superman today, February the 29th, which just so happens to be, coincidentally and unplanned, Superman's birthday. When I finished the first draft of the script, I called the film Superman Legacy. By the time I locked the final draft, it was clear the title was Superman. Making our way to you July 2025. Very exciting! So the film is no longer called Superman Legacy. He's dropped the legacy and it's just called Superman. Well. This is what I think. I don't mind. I think that's cool. I thought Superman Legacy was cool. There's some smart asses going, well, I never wanted it to be called Legacy anyway. You damn liars, you just want to sound clever. I was fine with Superman Legacy. It kind of captured my imagination and I tried to work out what the thinking behind the title was, if the title gave us any clues. But it's not called Legacy anymore. Look, he was never going to call it Superman Legacy. It was just a kind of pre-working title, if you like. He knew he was never going to call it Superman Legacy, but he's clever. On Superman's birthday, not only does he reveal this beauty, but he reveals the film is no longer called Superman Legacy, but it's called Superman. So the fans and nerds were all swallowing this up. It's brilliant. It's exciting. It's now called Superman. There was a film released in 1978 also called Superman, because it wasn't originally called Superman the movie. In fact, if you actually watch the bloody film, as I did yesterday, as I do on most days, because I'm obsessed with Superman and that film, by the way, it's called Superman. So yeah, officially on DVD, VHSs and Blu-ray and 4K and all of that is Superman the movie. But on the title card, in the actual film, Dick Donner's 1978 Superman is merely called Superman. So that's what it's called. So surprise, surprise, James Gunn is also calling his film Superman because it's that fucking important, everyone. It's a huge film about Superman. This could be the rebirth of a DC cinematic universe. This could be the rebirth of Warner Brothers. This is a historical moment because if this film succeeds, as the potential has for it, because you never know whether a film's going to succeed or not, never. But where am I pointing? Over there, right. So basically, right, if this film succeeds, it rebuilds and rebrands Warner Brothers. So it's so important to Zaslav, Warner Brothers Discovery. This film is everything. It's huge. This film is as important to Warner Brothers now as it was back in 1978. And basically, you know, Superman the movie was just a negative pickup deal, which basically meant that Warner Brothers had no responsibility on that film. It was all down to the Salkinds, and that's why they got in a lot of financial trouble, and WB had to bail them out. But this is how huge it is. So it's now called Superman. He always knew the film was going to be called Superman. But let's take a look at this, not this costume, but a portion of this costume. We were waiting all day yesterday patiently. I was confident he would reveal something small, and I wasn't sure what it would be. I mean, I was hopeful that maybe in my dreams that we'd get, like, maybe we'd see the Forces of Solitude, but that would be too big of a reveal, wouldn't it? I never thought he'd reveal the whole costume, but this is brilliant because that S shield is the most important logo, right, in the world. It's more recognizable than the Christian cross, and everyone's going to have an opinion on it. He was asked what inspired the design of this costume. Of course, it's Alex Ross. That's what James Gunn said. We knew that anyway. So let's look at this logo. So, by the way, as I said at the top of the show, I love the snow. I love the yellow backing it. It's a kind of a darker yellow, isn't it? Which is interesting when people keep on talking about we want a bright, lighter Superman. Slightly darker, but it looks cool. I like it. Now, clearly, this is a very dramatically different S shield, considering it's the Kingdom Come one, than the Man of Steel one. But if you look at the material, of this, you can actually, I think there's some similarities there. I think the material of this costume is certainly very similar to the Man of Steel costume. Now, we don't know what the rest of this costume is going to look like. So it's very interesting, but all the cast dropped this logo as well. And this picture, David Corenswet, who's obviously playing Clark Kent and Superman, also did. James Gunn commented on his post saying, I'm considering revealing the video of you swimming in your swimming trunks in the snow. Trunks. I mean, this guy can't help himself, can he, James Gunn? He's bigger nerds than we are, right? He's dying. He's not allowed to reveal the costume. He doesn't want to reveal the costume yet, right? It's all about teasers at the right time. And I get that, and I understand that, and I can be utterly patient. I want to see it now! But, yeah, I've always said that this Superman costume will have the red trunks. I've always believed it. There was a fake costume revealed, very convincing. He did have the trunks, and the logo wasn't that different to that one, by the way. I think the red here is a bit darker, and the yellow is certainly darker than the fake costume. And James Gunn said the costume was fake, but I knew the costume was fake. There was even fake James Gunn accounts all through Superman's birthday, posting shit. And you just have to mute those accounts, right? Because it's pathetic to try and mislead excited Superman fans. It's not right, is it? Anyway, so it's a really, listen, I like this. If you're waiting for me to tell you that, I know I've been gobbing off for nearly 10 minutes now, but I haven't told you if I like this or not. I love this. Did I tell you I liked it? I don't know anyway. I'm too excited. Basically, this video is going to be shit because I'm just going to be babbling because I'm so excited. But anyway, let's focus on this. I like this. It looks really cool. I love the Kingdom Come S. I think it's very dramatic. Now, we can see a little bit of the blue. It does look like a bright blue, but it's interesting. Obviously, I always think that the S shield is the most important part of Superman's costume. Now, what we can hopefully, kind of garner from this, that it's going to be a big S shield, that fans like a big S shield that dominates Superman's chest. And I think from this, we can see this is a very clear, proud shield. This is a great design. I mean, Siegel and Schuster were fucking geniuses coming up with the S shield from the beginning. And it wasn't that dramatic of an S. It was basically just an S. But it is an amazing symbol. And it's a symbol that represents goodness and hope and inspiration. And it always has to me. I'm so happy. As I say, I don't know what kind of film this is going to be. But I'm going to give you a bit of a disclaimer now. Right, I celebrate, and I've done a few versions of this video already, so I don't even know if I've already said this. My brain's all over the place, but I'm going to say this again, if I've said it again. Anyway, I'm going to say it. I celebrate all iterations of Superman, even the ones I like less than the ones I really like. I celebrate them all. I think it's okay to celebrate all iterations in the comics, in animation, in movies. And I think that's a really important thing to say. I'm not here to shit on James Gunn. I'm not here to shit on any artist, any filmmaker, any actor who's been involved in Superman iterations of the past. I'm not going to personally attack people. I'm not going to make libelous claims about people. Every time James Gunn reveals something or says something, I will reiterate that to you with my opinion. I'm very open to this film. I do not like how Henry Cavill was treated. As I said, I don't even know if I've already said that because my head's spinning, but I don't like the way Henry Cavill was used to promote Black Adam. I don't celebrate that. I think that was disgusting. But I am not William Wallace. I am not here to sacrifice my consumption of future DC and Superman iterations. I'm not going to do that. I am going to be very, very honest with you about this movie when I see it. If I think it's crap and it sucks, I'll tell you. I hope it doesn't. I don't want it to. I want this film to be one of the best things I've ever seen. James knows how important this movie is, right? Is he capable of making a Superman movie? You know, is he capable of making a magnum opus? Because Superman 1978 is Richard Donner's magnum opus. Make no mistake about that. The scale of that film was amazing. And this film also has to have a similar scale, but in 2025 style. And this has to be James Gunn's magnum opus. He's made a lot of good comic book movies that are impressive, that are good, that have great themes, that are fun but are also sad and serious and emotionally uplifting. James has a big heart when it comes to telling stories. And he's going to have to do it all in this film. Because now the world is expecting. If you go on Threads, everyone's hyped up. If you go on X, a lot of people are hyped up. Everyone has a good feeling about this film. What are my feelings right now? I have right now, because I'll be honest with you, it's different every morning. I wake up. Sometimes I'm like, I don't know. Can he do this? Is he capable of this? And, you know, other days I'm like, yeah, James Gunn, he's going to do it. And sometimes I'm like, I just want to watch the Snyder Cut. Yeah, I wish Zack Snyder was still doing it. You know, so it's always different for me on different days. Obviously today, I'm in a celebratory mood. I've seen this logo and I like it. This logo shows you that James Gunn understands the mission. He understands what we're looking for. And now we can see what he's trying to create. And this is awesome. And as I say, this is clearly a Fortress of Solitude bit. Now, something else exciting happened because we had Rachel Brosnahan, Nicholas Hoult and David Cornsworth in a video, being funny, being fun. And they played John Williams' Superman theme. Now, interestingly, it wasn't. Now, this is what was very, very interesting. Again, it wasn't the official John Williams Superman theme. Now, could this be from the composer of Superman Legacy? Because what they do in this video, you have Rachel Brosnahan, she's smiling. Doesn't she have a beautiful smile, everyone? And then you see Nicholas Hoult, and then you see David Cornsworth, who's hiding his hair. He's wearing one of those kind of, you know, warmer kind of hats on. Is he hiding the spit curl? I don't know. Nicholas Hoult was bald. We know he's bald now. Interestingly, in the comics, in the early comics, Lois Lane was a redhead. It's clear from what we're seeing from Rachel, thus far she's not a redhead, unless that changes going forward. Now, have they started filming yet? Who's filming in Norway, by the way? Is Lois Lane in that sequence? Is Lex Luthor in that sequence? It's clear that Superman is in that sequence as well. Very, very interesting how he's got snow on his shield. Maybe that's just part of the promotion. Oh, it's gone away. We want it back. We want it back. I want my S-shield back. There you go. It is beautiful. Look, I could, you know, I don't know if I said this in my video the other day, but I meant to say when I was talking about why I love Superman. These are the things that get me up in the morning. These are the things that motivate me. This is so utterly exciting. We are getting a Superman film, everyone. This is so, you know, exciting. But I have to be a little bit less positive with what I'm going to talk about briefly. We'll come back to this. Isabella Macrad, is that how you say her name? Who I think is who is definitely going to be in Superman Legacy, and she's playing Hawk Girl, if I remember rightly. She was also in Madam Web. Now, there was a quote from her going around saying that the reason that Madam Web failed was the same reason Birds of Prey, The Marvels, and all these female-led movies failed, was because men don't support them because they're intimidated by strong female leads. She's denying she said that. Let me tell you probably what actually happened. And yes, it's one of my theories, it's one of my assumptions. She said something along those lines, even if it wasn't what's going around the internet, because she's very upset, everyone's having a go at her. Let me tell you what happened when those quotes were going around the internet. James Gunn and Peter Safran had her in their offices telling her off, because what they've tried to do, that video I just told you about, of Rachel, David and Nick smiling and being fun, right? Trying to make this a fun experience for the fans. That's what James is attempting to do, right? And then you've got someone from the film saying the normal nonsense that has divided audiences, creatives and actors. We used to look up to film stars, right? And now it's a divide. And shit like that creates a problem. So I'm sure David and Peter said to her, don't destroy what we're trying to create before we've created it. They've told her off. They've put her back on the internet and told her to deny everything. And again, I don't know what she said and what she didn't say. So I'm going to take, if she says she didn't say, I'm going to take her word for it. I've already apologized to her. I've commented on her post denying it. I've said, I'm sorry I made assumptions, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to take her word for it. But this shit is the reason why Hollywood is on its knees financially and creatively. No man wakes up in the morning and says, I'm not going to see that female-led movie because it's starring a strong female. I tell you what, I don't think that way. There's been brilliant female-led television and women since the late 1930s. I don't know when they invented TV. Obviously, there's been great movies since the late 1930s. Actresses like Vivien Leigh, Olivia de Havilland, Gone with the Wind, etc., etc., etc. The Accused, starring Jodie Foster, one of my most favourite treasured movies that taught me something as a young boy. Something very important. I don't see a film starring women and think, well, I'm not going to see that crap, it's starring women. Or I'm not going to see that film, it's starring a minority, it's got inclusion in it. No, right? We want to see great movies that educate us. Not movies that rewrite history, that educate us, that inspire us, tell us something, entertain us, emotionally uplift us. Now, Madam Web didn't do that, Isabella. So what you should have said, because I don't know what you actually said, if anything, right, and clearly you said something to be misquoted, okay, you should have bowed your head down and apologized to the fans and said, we didn't make a very good movie. We failed here, we apologize. That's it. That's what S.J. Clarkson, the director, should be saying, and that's what Isabella should have said. I welcome her to DC. She's part of the DC family. I want to know that she's a good person. I'm going to make the assumption she is a good person, but this shit has to stop. But make no mistake about it, she was told off and she was told to go back and deny what she said because it isn't a good look. Because James Gunn and Peter Safran have created this positive vibe around DC Universe and Superman Legacy. Nicholas Hoult was wearing the Creature Commandos top, right? It's all fun and exciting. James Gunn's trying to bring that vibe. He's very good at creating these situations. What they're doing, this is great marketing without doing any marketing. This is free marketing, what they're doing right now. They're not even paying to do this. Right, I hope we see more videos of the cast doing silly things like that. It's cool with that Superman theme. So going back to that, are they going to use John Williams' Superman theme? Is John Murphy, the composer, actually done a rendition of that music? Is what we heard in that video part of that rendition of John Williams' Superman theme? Don't be surprised if they use John Williams' Superman theme. Don't be surprised at all. Don't be surprised if we even see opening credits as awesome as the 1978 ones. I mean, they don't really have credits these days. I miss the days of great TV intros. I miss the days of long movie credits. But unfortunately, audiences don't have a long concentration level. It's why you hear people saying that movie was too short, too long. You could have easily made it shorter and shit like that. Oh damn, I miss Barry Norman and great critics who used to know about films. I mean, I saw some idiot talking about a film today, talking about the original Dune movie from the 80s and tearing it to pieces. Clearly a Denis Villeneuve stan. Denis Villeneuve's a great director. He's done a great job on both Dune movies, absolutely. But don't shit on other people's work just because you stan other people. This is what the vocal minority of Snyderverse fans do. They were trying to ruin Superman's birthday yesterday. It was obvious, what they were attempting to do. Yes, I see you, and I see what you were doing, and I will not be part of that negativity. I love what Snyder did. I can love the Snyderverse and enjoy what James Gunn's giving us, but I absolutely do not know what kind of film it's going to be, whether it's going to be good, whether it's going to be great, whether it's going to be bad. I don't know. Nobody knows what it's going to be apart from the people that are making the movie. And that's very exciting. But I didn't know what Superman Returns was going to be, but I'm still excited. I'm still hyped for all the reveals. The whole Empire magazine spread, I remember it. The interviews with Brandon Routh and Kevin Spacey and Bryan Singer and Kate Bosworth. It was very, very exciting. And I quite enjoyed Superman Returns. Was it the greatest superhero movie ever? No. Was it even close to one of the best Superman movies ever? No. But it was a Superman movie of great moments. Unfortunately, they weren't put together in the right way. But some of the moments were amazing. So I'm a big fan of Superman Returns, of a film of moments. A great movie, not a great movie, but great moments. Anyway, so, we are now in 2024. They are making a Superman film. We have to let them make it, but it's very, very interesting. We are at a rebuild stage of Hollywood. Hollywood are attempting to rebuild their reputation. They have a damaged reputation. They have become a laughing stock. Amateur YouTubers who know nothing about film are tearing their films to pieces, doing 6-7 hour videos and tearing their films to pieces. To me, it looks like Warner Brothers are trying to rebrand and create something and do something. And I think that's what Superman Legacy, but Superman is going to be about. A celebration of the character and a celebration of entertainment and the medium of film. I don't believe Disney are genuinely looking to rebrand and rebuild. They want to look like they're rebuilding, but they're very stubborn. They want to keep on pushing that propaganda. But Warner Brothers, I do believe they genuinely want to rebuild. And this is why they're doing Superman first, because it's all about nostalgia as well. Because a lot of people remember Superman 78 and what it meant to everyone. A very special movie. What Dick Donner achieved there was outstanding, and it may never be repeated again. The ghost of Christopher Reeve, the ghost of Dick Donner, and what they achieved, and all those people, those brilliant, talented people achieved, is hovering over James Gunn. This is a huge moment. This film has to make money. I'll reiterate that until the cows come home. I don't know why I mentioned cows, but this film has to be successful. And if you want to press me into kind of a figure or where we have to be with Superman Legacy, well, absolutely, it has to make more than Man of Steel. If it was to make lower than Man of Steel, it would be an absolute disaster. The Snyderverse stands would destroy it first of all, but what they do is irrelevant. They have no power in this situation. But if this film doesn't make the money that it needs to, if it makes less than Man of Steel, that's a disaster. So that's your barometer. Because Man of Steel made just under $700 million, which wasn't deemed to be enough, right? It was a very expensive movie, right? Lots of marketing, and there was a lot of marketing with this movie, mate. So, with that movie, it was an expensive film to make. Didn't even make 700 million. I mean, it's a respectable figure. It took forever to cross 200 million in the United States domestically as well. I remember all the kind of negativity around that with Access Media. I remember that. So Man of Steel, unfortunately, for one reason or the other, the neck snapping moment really hurt it as well. I think if the neck snapping moment's not in it, I've said it a million times, that film would have got a lot closer to $1 billion than the 700 million it ended up with. But that's history. But this film really has to do well. It has to make money. It has to please people. And James Gunn knows that he has to make a film that works. He's under pressure here. He has to make a classic movie. Is he capable of that? I simply can't answer that question for you. I'm afraid, because people don't like this anymore, but you're going to have to wait and see what happens. But this is a good symbol. This is something that says, yeah, this could be a good movie. Well, as I say, I don't know. We've discussed the potential of him doing the Kingdom Come saga, because that is the Kingdom Come emblem. But let me give you one more theory. If you've stuck around in this video, and it's something that's just crossed my mind right now, and maybe we should focus on this on another video. That is a Kingdom Come insignia. But it may not necessarily be David Corenswet's insignia. Could this person wearing this shield be laying on the floor? That would explain the sprinkles of snowflakes on the S shield. Could the person wearing this actually be dead? So who's wearing this? They may not be dead. They may be unconscious, right? Maybe it is Superman. Maybe it's a future version of Superman that comes and finds David Corenswet. What if Kingdom Come Superman comes and finds his younger iteration, right? You never know. So maybe everything isn't what it seemed. It's just a little theory for you, because there's something missing here. Because how do you do a Kingdom Come story? How can he be wearing that emblem before he becomes Kingdom Come Superman? As I say, I'm not a comic book reader. I'm a watcher of Superman media, animation, movies, television. I know everything about all of that. But in terms of Superman, comic book scripture, I'm not an expert. And I'm trying to do as much research as I can. But I am a huge Superman fan in terms of films and television. That's where my love of Superman is. That doesn't make my fandom and my love for the character any less valid. So there's no question about that. But if you've got more information about, Kingdom Come Superman, and I have been, as I say, been researching it so hard. But in terms of this reveal, in terms of what James Gunn had to say on top of this reveal, in terms of changing the name from Superman Legacy to Superman, I'm very happy with all of that. That's very, very exciting, considering the original 78 movie is also called Superman. As I say, go and check the opening credits. And it's all being done on purpose. He's trying to create a huge moment. Because make no mistake, this has got to be a huge moment. This has got to be the rebirth of Superman. This has got to be the rebirth of DC Comics themselves. It's got to be the rebirth of comic book movies. It's got to be the rebirth of Superman. This has to be huge. It has to be great. It has to be historic. It is all so important, and it matters. As I said yesterday, what we love and what we talk about all the time is subjective. Everyone likes different things. And I love Superman. And I love DC. And I love talking about DC with you guys every single day. In long form, in these long videos, I really enjoy that. It's not, it's not a stretch for me to do it. My videos are not scripted. I just say what's in my heart and what's in my mind. And I'm excited. As I said earlier, I am upset what they did to Henry Cavill and what they did to Zack Snyder, but I'm a Superman fan. I'm not here for directors. I love Zack Snyder, but I'm not going to sacrifice what could be an awesome moment. I'm not going to sacrifice all this hype, right, for one director. If that upsets you, we can't be friends anymore, and that's okay. But if you understand that, if you're an intelligent person that doesn't belong in Arkham Asylum and understand why I'm excited, why all Superman fans are excited, then cool. But one more thing. All the nerds around the world are very excited. But for this film to be successful, it's going to take more than nerds. You need the general audience. Thus far, there's no evidence that the general audience are interested. I suppose we're going to have to wait and see what happens. But for this film to be successful, I believe the nerds are on side. Most of them. Not all of them. It's still divided, the DC fandom. But for this film to make the money it needs to and create the historical moment it needs to, the general audience need to get on the Superman train.